example why you do not do that. This is a prime example why you do not count your chickens before they hatch, and why you do not write off teams before the season even really gets fully into its first quarter. All right. I was very objective. Didn't write Max off. Didn't write Red Bull off. Matter of fact, I said you might have to watch out for Red Bull. I told you all on the last stream that, first of all, good morning as well. I told you all on the last stream that Max and Red Bull had performed very, very dominant here in the season before. Although 5 rounds into the season, and this is 2 rounds in, I didn't feel that there would be any reason to write Red Bull or Max Verstappen off, as well as I say he's good for a quick lap. But many of you wrote Lewis Hamilton off. Many of you wrote Ferrari off. And Ferrari fumbled horribly. They fumbled horribly. But I also told you all that using the last race in Australia with those weather conditions, with the adverse challenges that these teams were going through, was not a correct way to try to take data and then try to form up what you thought the season would look like. Because now what you have is an obliterating surprise in Lewis Hamilton taking pole position for the sprint race. Good morning, Mary Beanie. Good afternoon to you, your time. Pole position in the sprint race. Now, I am going to say this. This is a sprint race. This is sprint quali. This is a very condensed race weekend. So, again, we have a set of circumstances that could give you a very convoluted overall result long term. But for the short term, how about Lewis Hamilton? That's what I can say. How about Lewis Hamilton? I mean, you be mad about it all you want, but he's on pole position and he's in front of Max Verstappen, might I add. On pole position in front of Max Verstappen. And it's several tenths off. He is in front of Max Verstappen by 7/10 of a second. 7/10. Now, I just want you to take this in the land, because some people will say 7/10 is nothing. Well, you got to pump your brakes. If we're talking 7/10 over several laps, 7/10 of a second, just imagine if Lewis Hamilton has a standard lap time, 7/10 over Max Verstappen or anybody behind him, lap after lap after lap after lap, 7/10 adds up. It starts looking like those multiple second gaps that we saw last week. But either way it goes, and I'm talking to the outrageous idiots that wrote Lewis Hamilton off, I believe he's the first driver 40 years old or older to get on a pole position. 40 years of age or older to get pole position. So that means there's been no driver. There has been no driver of that age or older that managed to have the performance, the skill, the talent, the experience, the reactions, the drivability to get a pole position. Lewis Hamilton's the only driver to do it right now. Can't be washed. Can't be washed. Maybe he could be a little lesser version of what he was at McLaren or even prime Mercedes, but he certainly can't be washed doing that. So all of the wash bullshit, I just got to say it. You know, I try not to cuss as much as possible on the channel because kids watch it as well. But all of that wash shenanigans has to stop. You got to stop it. You got to cut it out. Okay? You got to cut it out, especially when you got Alonso in 11th, which you know what that means. Okay? Alonso in 11th, out in SQ2. And I'm still saying, sprint quality, don't take much from it, but take something about it. But this is not the only story we need to talk about. It is the most wowing because for so long and unfairly criticized Lewis Hamilton has been because he is the greatest, and being the greatest comes with that. You got to be, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I do think mechanic Mercedes, man, member of 28 months, says GOAT didn't know he had pole. The way he laughed was hilarious. Dude is more relaxed now. He is. That is a very good point, Mercedes mechanic. He is a bit more relaxed. I don't think he's fully there, but I do think this lets him do that. Lets him exhale a little bit and say, you know what? I might be getting comfortable in here. I might need to stretch. I might can stretch out in this car. We're going to see what happens. I do know that there will be some conversation about the radio message to be had between Charles and the team. Mary Beanie in the super chat says Lewis broke lap record to win weekend. Hey, that is also true. Fastest lap. Actually, if we look down here, Mary Beanie talking about that. The fastest lap right here. All right, fastest lap by Lewis Hamilton, and of course, pole position right there by Lewis Hamilton. Definitely kicking in some good things. Definitely. If anything, let's say we can't take fully embodiment of this pole position and say that it's going to correlate over to a full race weekend. What you can do is you can take some positive motivation and encouragement and much needed positive energy that Lewis may grab from this. And that can change a driver's perspective. And with a driver's perspective changing, so can their racing change and improve. Mechanic Mercedes says Ferrari now needs to be on point with strategy. Man, Mechanic, you on point with these comments, right? Yes. And that is something that I think is fair to question. I think it is completely fair, even if people are not fans of Ferrari, not fans of Lewis Hamilton, and people that are fans and supporters of Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton and Charles, I think it's completely fair for people to have concern. Can Ferrari bring the entire package home, right? And it's only fair because we've seen it so many times. We've seen Ferrari drop the ball so many times. And I think it's important when I put this poll up, can Ferrari bring it home with strategy? I'm not even saying so much as the race. Can they bring it home with strategy? I could deal with Lewis or Charles not winning the race, but being top 3, top 5, and seeing a solid strategy from Ferrari. Because if Ferrari gets solid strategies consistently, if Ferrari get their development and updates to turn into upgrades consistently, I think we can all trust the drivers to take good machinery paired with good strategy and make it happen. I think we could trust that. Mechanic Mercedes in the super chat saying, glad to see Big Bro and good. Bro, listen, today is one of my better days, bro. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I was supposed to be live for y'all for sprint quali. It just wasn't going to happen. It couldn't happen. But fortunately, that time I used got, now it's better. And I'm here now. And I'm really planning on being here tonight and tomorrow morning. So I really do appreciate that, bro. Don't scare the fam like that again, or we will ship you to Marco's basement. We love you, my boy. Hey, bro. Hey, anything but bro. You saying that, you know what I just thought about when you said shipping me to Marco's basement? I just thought about that scene. It puts the lotion on. I definitely don't want none of that action, bro. I definitely don't want none of that action. I want none of that smoke. I don't want none of that smoke, bro. Hell no. But yeah, man, we're going to have good days and bad days. We're going to have good days and bad days. And you saying that, definitely don't want to scare y'all, but it will be another moment where we will have a setback as a family because I do have, some other things that have to happen. But, bro, I really do appreciate all the love, the support, the encouragement. You just got to understand, man, even seeing, my son and him being, just looking at him and looking at like, man, then you got to take me and drive me here and drive me there. It's just been an awesome, beautiful thing to just know that your kids can turn around and just care for you the way that you've been caring for them. It's an awesome thing, man. Love and support from y'all. It's crazy, man. When you got that type of energy, man, you would hope that God just blesses you with recovery over time and resolve over time, man. But, our fight's not over, battle's not over, but we are making progress. And I love you all and appreciate you, man. And this, this is what we do, man. For real, it's hard, and that's why a lot of people tell me you should have more subscribers. No, I'm blessed with what I have, because what I do have is quality. I'd rather have what I have of quality than give me 50,000 subscribers of a bunch of people that don't give a damn about what's going on, don't give a damn about what you say. They just hear and they gone. It's no continuity, no connection, man. I'm completely blessed with the family that I have here at the Wolfpack, man, and I'm cool with that. Cool with it. So if we go down a little bit more, let's talk about, we got Max Verstappen, right? We got Max Verstappen. We got good old Max right here, second. But let me tell you something. You know what I noticed? What I did notice is last season, Max Verstappen could not carry Red Bull to a Constructors' Championship on his own, as many people thought he could. And what I'm noticing this season, it might be the same issue, because we got Lawson right here, 20th. And then coming up right here, what do we got? Yuki making it a full qualifying 3 sessions throughout. That's what we got. Oh, what's going on, Mechanic Mercedes? What's the bet? I don't even know. I can't even really call a bet this year, bro. Honestly, I can't even really call a bet this year. This year, I'm not even sure what the bet may be. I don't know what it might be, man. Honestly, if it's one, and this is, you know what? It's good you asked that question, because you know what this makes me think about? This, honestly, and I don't know for sure if it's going to be this way, but let's say we get 5 GPs in. Let's say we get 5 GPs in. If we have 5 Grand Prix, with at least 3 of those Grand Prix with different Grand Prix winners, we could indeed be in for a season that we don't know what the hell is going to happen. We have no clue what's going to happen. This indeed could be a season where it could come down to the final few races of the season before we even have a defined champion. It could be. I don't know. It's still early. Still very early. That's what we finna talk about. Lawson got Yuki licking his lips. That is exactly what the point I was getting to, bro. Matter of fact, bro, you should be co-hosting with me right now with the fire you coming with in this, because you're going directly to a lot of things that I want to go to. That is what I was about to get into, Mechanic Mercedes. Here it is. We got Yuki through 3 qualifying sessions. Lawson is out in SQ1. No disrespect to Hadjar, because he is having a rough time, but Hadjar is out SQ2 DNF. It's really starting to. This is really starting. It could be premature here as well, but this is. I know Mechanic Mercedes came up with a good one. Slawson, yo, I like that. I call it Slawson, but Slawson is a very good. He came up with a nickname that I think is going to stick for the rest of the season, because you do remember Christian Horner said Lawson was supposed to be turning around here. That's what he said. He said he's supposed to be turning around here at this race. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, Galactus says 3 races. Well, what's up, Derwin in the live chat? Dave's Quattro in the live chat. What's going on, y'all? Racer X210 in the live chat. Galactus said 3 events. I give him a little bit more. I give him 5. Galactus ain't playing that. You got 3 opportunities to screw Galactus over, and he boot you. You know what I'm saying? He could be cordial about it. He gonna boot you. But if we get 5 races in and we're still looking at this type of performance from Lawson, Hadjar, I can let Hadjar slide. I can not slide, but I can give Hadjar and the rest of these rookies. Big shout out to Derwin using one of the emojis from the Wolfpack fam. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's go. There you go. 44. Hey, we got those flags up. Nasty Stu said Yuki 8 will be in the Red Bull seat by race 5. And you want to know something, man? That could be crazy. But you want to know what I also think? I also think that may never happen. And here's a couple of reasons why I think it might. Let me not say never. I think that is very I think they'll be very reluctant to do that. And let me tell you why. For two reasons. One reason is they are going to look like complete, utter buffoons, okay, if they give Yuki that seat after he keeps doing this. They're going to look like buffoons. The second reason, which I think is the most important reason, is they will probably put themselves in such a position with Yuki, because I don't think Yuki's going to play the yes man role. And I also don't think Yuki's going to be quiet about it if they are making him play the yes man role. I don't think they want to put somebody as competitively fierce as Yuki with Max Verstappen, because that could be a problem. We saw Lawson give the middle finger to Perez. I questioned if he would have did that to Max Verstappen, because you should, if you're still trying to keep everything, I'm about being competitive and trying to do what I do. But I question if he would have did that to Max Verstappen. So those are the two reasons I don't think it'll happen. I do think it should happen, though. Mechanic Mercedes in the Super Chat. Come on, bro. You know he got his fishing rod in the Amazon cart, about to hit the buy now button. Perez already got the boat fired. Hey, man. Yo, bro. Mechanic is killing us this morning, bro. He killing us this morning with the puns and the jokes, bro. Derwin is rolling. I'm rolling, bro. This is crazy. We got Buck Rogers in the Super Chat. What's up, Buck? Hello, Wolfpack fam. How is everyone? Jay, so happy to see you better, bro. Much love and respect. Hey, man, much love and respect to you, man. I greatly appreciate it. I also had learned that sometimes I got to just kind of cool, chill. Don't get so overworked. Don't get so excited. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I get off, I'm sore as hell when I get off here, just in my diaphragm area from the incisions and the cuts and all that stuff. So sometimes I got to try to dial back. That's why sometimes y'all see me be like, I got to just kind of take a break, man. When they cut up that much, it's kind of hard, you know, to try to get too excited. But it might be hard not to get excited this weekend, right? Can you imagine? Could you imagine? Just imagine. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not even trying to get over embellished and emboldened. Just imagine if Lewis Hamilton poles for the sprint, wins the sprint, poles for quali, wins the race. I can't drink alcohol anymore at all, but I'm damn sure going to see about some apple cider. We got to see about something. Bug Rogers, so we gonna have to see about something. But in the hey man, Morning Wood Racing Series. I've had some Morning Wood every now and then. You know, it happens. What up, Wolfpack fam? G5 in the house. Hey, what's going on, man? That's one hell of a profile name, bro. That is Morning Wood Racing Series. That is one hell of a profile name. I mean, how do you not pay attention to that? That's kind of crazy. But listen, yeah. Yuki is going to make him eat it. All right. And I'm glad Hadjar at least got through SQ1. But not just talking about Hadjar. How about the rest of the other rookies? We already know Mechanic Mercedes now deemed Lawson. He's there. But yo, even though Jack Doohan is out, he just a bit over Gasly. All right. Just a bit over Gasly. We got Mechanic Mercedes in the Super Chat saying, what's your thought about Charles? Hey, okay. I think I don't want to make too much of it, but I think we can just say it's Lewis Hamilton, bro. I think we can say it's Lewis Hamilton, bro. Hey, Charles, we know who you're going to be. You know the future relies with you, but come on, bro. He's the GOAT, and he's not washed. And there's a lot for you to learn. That's what I think the radio message said. But I also think that we should not be surprised if we hear it flipped and in an event, Lewis Hamilton gets some instruction to be in the position of Charles. I don't think that's far-fetched to even consider. Nasty Stu in the Super Chat saying Red Bull better call Ricardo back. Man, talking about ring. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't even think Daniel Ricciardo should come back. I don't even think he should come back, man. But you know what I do think? I don't think it would matter. I think Red Bull right now are well, we know they got 4 cars, 4 drivers, But right now, they 2 drivers in. One of their drivers is not happy because he got shafted and screwed over, which is Yuki. The other driver, have y'all noticed a little bit different temperament in Max Verstappen and the way he talks and does his interviews now? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just pay attention. Paul in the super chat saying, what up, fam? Grinding at work. Always, bro. You always grinding, man. How about that pole? Lim is the new Logan. Oh, man. We got mechanic Mercedes with Lawson. We got Paul coming in talking about he the new embodiment of Logan Sargent. Smash the like, peace and love, fam. Hey, man, it's looking, it's what, as Baraka would say, it's looking spooky. That's what Baraka would say. He would say it's looking spooky out here, man, for these boys. But also, I think we should keep another thing that we should consider, and I'm just going to get to these rookies. Bortoleto outperforming his elder statesman in Hulk. I think Bortoleto, he didn't make it in the SQ3, but I think Bortoleto in the machinery that he's in a Sauber, I think that he is showing why not only F3, but F2 champion. And this is not all I want, but this is what I would like to see. If Bortoleto can do what he's doing right now, outperform Hulk, not be last in a Sauber, get through some races, some events, maybe even get himself into the points a few times. I don't know what Audi's going to be when they come in, but I know if they're not good enough, he should have then put together a resume where other teams should be looking at him to get him in the seat. And this is what I would ask Bortoleto. Don't go to Aston Martin. Do not go to Aston Martin. Do not get Felipe'd. Aston Martin have an F2 champion, and I think a very good driver in Felipe Drugovich, and I think it's a crime that we have not been able to see him. Don't go to Aston Martin. If they offer you a contract and Lance Stroll is still a driver there and you don't have an opportunity to get right into a seat as the number 1 driver, do not go to Aston Martin. But I do think if Bortoleto puts together a season that can be looked into and say, hey, what could he do in a better car? Other teams might be looking at him. I think they should. I think they should. Another driver right here, okay, like we already talked about Hadjar doing what he did, getting there. Oliver Behrman. Let's talk about it. Didn't make it in the SQ3, but hell, there's only 10 drivers that are going to make it. He still made an SQ2, finished out. Not at the bottom of the barrel, in a Haas. And might I also add, outperforming his elder statesman in Esteban. 2 rookies right now outperforming the elder statesman. And then if we go up, Kimi, and now, Kimi, I got to say something about this, bro. You're going to have to cut this name down, bro. Kimi, bro, you're going to have to cut the name down for the chart. Just go ahead and tell Formula One that it's okay. Big shout out to the Super Chat too. It's okay for you to just call me Kimi Antonelli. We don't need the Andrea Kimi Antonelli, man. Just go ahead and make it Kimi Antonelli or something, man. You taking up like 2 spots right here, man. They had to space it. I haven't seen this recently in Formula One where we got to go ahead and put a big. I know maybe he just want his name seen. Like the longer my name is, they can't help but notice me. But let's cut the name down, bro. Let's cut it down. Didn't outperform George Russell, but he's not far from George Russell. You know, let's say this, not far in positions, but as far as time, yes. Okay, he's a bit off, but he's there. He's in the top 10. And I'm going to say this, if Kimi Antonelli can be in the top 10 more often than not through the season, it's a successful rookie season for him. I don't know if he's going to quite win a race, be on podium, but that's a successful rookie season for him. Now, the big story here is the car that we're seeing right here. And also, we also did mention this, and I kept it objective. I said, although you can't take 100% away from it because the last event, race, variables, all types of things happening, now they're enforcing this strict rear wing test. We did see it, right? I had the quote card up. We saw what the quote said. Now, I got to be fair when we talk about these things. We saw the quote, and I'll bring it up again. Nope. When asked about, will this impact McLaren? Lando Norris said, nope, we don't have to change anything. Ours is fine. In fact, ours probably too good, and we probably are not pushing the limits enough, honestly. If this technical directive was applied for last week, we'd also be fine, so it's not directed at us. It seems it's directed at other teams, which probably means we need to push it even more. When you say something like that, and I did say it, I said either he completely knows this to be true, or he's saying what he should be saying to protect his team. Now, also keeping things objective, because a lot of people jumped out of the window and a lot of people were going on this illegal rear wing. The rear wing was not illegal. It was within the regulation. It was within the directive. It was within the tolerance. It's not illegal. Stop saying that. It's not illegal. But that doesn't mean within those regulations, within those confines, McLaren found something purely great and exploited more performance. Now that they're being suppressed, we need to see, not suppressed. They're not being suppressed. Now that new regulations are in place and they're more fine-tuned, you have less tolerance. Can their car still perform within that? Also, keep in mind, I said, that's a different race last weekend. Now this week, we should have more drive, more accurate, more on average, good temperature, good weather, good environments where we're going to see it's not about all the external variables. It's just about the cars, the strategy, the drivers. Now we'll see where they land up. Okay. See where they land up. Now it is kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting that we got Oscar Piastri. He's third. He's not far off. All right. He's not far off at all. If you look right here, what Kimi Antonelli was, he was a couple seconds off, a second or so off George Russell, but Oscar is a little something off there. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, really. It's not a lot. It's not something that can't be made up. But I do think that McLaren has some fine tuning to do, but it was very odd to see that Lando, and we saw why it happened, Lando is sixth. Now that's something off. Lando's off here. That's not tenths. That's not hundreds. That's second in some. That's a second in some. Okay. So no indictments to be made right now at all. I mean, people are going to make their own indictments and their own assumptions, but I'm not taking a lot from that right now because it's the second round. And I really honestly don't agree with them applying this new technical directive this soon out of the gate. I don't. I think they should have gave it a little bit more time to breathe, at least by the fifth round. Is my opinion. Fifth or sixth round. Fifth round probably preferable. I think 5 races should give you a little bit more data, give you a better view of how the grid and how these cars and teams and drivers are, and then come in with a technical directive if you feel that something, you made a mistake. But you made a mistake at that point in time. You really need to do a little bit more research and more deep diving before you come out with these variables, because you're impacting a lot, and then it looks like you're impacting so much for a certain team. And it still kind of does look like that. It still looks as if you didn't like what you saw in the last event. Somebody got smoked, and now can we help them and fix it? And it's okay. It's fair for people to have that, because there's been cause and reaction within certain things that have always seemed to happen. And once you establish a pattern over and over and over again, it seems okay for people to draw to those conclusions. And that's not healthy for the sport, and it definitely doesn't look good for Formula One, and it doesn't look good for the FIA. But I don't think they care about what we think about what looks good. I think they care about what it is that they can achieve and what they want to do. What that is, who can be clear on it? We can all just kind of draw our own personal conclusions and opinions from that. Going also in here, I'm going to say, I'm going to be, watching Yuki, hoping the best for Yuki. Also, Alex Albon again here, 9th. Carlos Sainz not making it into SQ3. Not a rookie, but we have a driver who is performing and driving with a teammate that comes from top performing teams and, again, outperforming them. What I would like to say is I am not holding this against Carlos because we've already said Lewis Hamilton is in a new car. He's going to have to get used to it. Carlos is dealing with the same situation. He's with the team that Albon has been with for seasons. He's going to have to find his bearings, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do know Carlos has the capability to make it happen. I mean, this is the same guy that was on pit wall last week that helped the team get Albon in an excellent position for finishing on Williams. He's finding his bearings as well within this team. So I don't want to hear a bunch of too much excitement about Albon outperforming Carlos and Carlos is nothing and this is why Ferrari dropped him. No. First of all, there are at least 18 other drivers on the grid right now that if Williams would have had and Lewis Hamilton would have become available, would have been dropped from that seat. There's only one other driver that I can tell you right now that would have been a debate for them to drop, and that's Max Verstappen. Any other driver, Lewis Hamilton becomes available, and maybe, sub debatable. Nah, that's it. I can't even put Lando and Charles in there. You know, I don't know. Maybe because future, I can't put them in there. That's it, Max Verstappen. Other than that, 18 other drivers are going to be dropped. And we're going to be in another situation this week where can Lando handle the pressure? You right? I think that's a big question that a lot of people and myself want to know is, can Lando Norris handle the pressure? There's an enormous pressure being the one because you're always being hunted, especially when the field is this tight. There wasn't a lot of pressure for Max Verstappen being one with the most dominant car in Formula One history, being 19, 18 seconds out front. There's more pressure when things are closer together within a tenth of a second, and you can't run away from the pack. That's a lot of pressure. Now, like I said, Lando will be completely fine if he can get out front and stretch it out. He'll be okay. But if he's got to be in close quarters with Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri even, Charles Leclerc, and George Russell, that's pressure. That's pressure. It really is. And we're going to see how this all goes out, man. We're going to see how this all goes out. I think we're in, I wonder if we're going to be in for one of the better sprint seasons that we have. Because remember, last season, sprint races really weren't so bad, although qualifying was the highlight of last season. I mean, qualifying sessions were better than some of the other events, even the races. I'd like to see how this whole sprint weekend is going to turn out. Now, I still don't agree with the format of the sprint races because I feel there's a better format to make it more competitive. But with the field being this tight and these drivers up there, I mean, you're trying to claw and get as many points as you can right now, especially when things are more tight together. Like, it's not decided yet. It's early. I'm trying to grab those points. This is where we'll see these top teams be a bit more aggressive in the sprint weekend than more so on the back half of the season when things are kind of decided. Some teams have already decided to start focusing on the 2026 car and use more of their budget toward that and then going into the next cap type situation. And some top teams are saying, hey, we already got this position locked. Don't push too hard in the sprint race. Just kind of keep it moderate. More so now than then. So, and then other than that, hey, you know, we'll see what goes on. But I will say I'm keeping my eye on Yuki. I would like to see if he can finish in points again and just keep adding to that crow pie that he's been baking in that oven. We're looking to see where Ferrari finish as a team. Mercedes, not looking too bad. They're up there. We're going to see how they finish out. But Lando is definitely on watch. And Oscar Piastri is trying to get on the rebound. And you cannot count this guy out. You can't count that guy out, but you damn sure can't count this guy out either. And a lot of people have been counting him out. We don't know what's going to happen. And I think it's only fair to say Ferrari can disappoint you. Ferrari can disappoint you. Ferrari can do some things where you're like, HTF. How the HTF did they make that happen? How did they create a clown show to that magnitude that I've never seen in any Ringling Brothers circuits act ever? Ferrari does things like that, and I don't know why, but they do. The Red Bull don't normally do things like that. Red Bull's strategy is usually on point. Red Bull's pit stops, usually on point. Red Bull's orders, usually on point, except for the one driver who just thinks he doesn't have to do what he's ordered as a driver, and that sucks for your teammate, Max Verstappen. But, I mean, Red Bull's the most consistent team on the grid when it comes to strategy and pit stops. Although McLaren is the fastest, they're not that great. We saw that last season with calling strategies, you know. Mercedes, we've seen them fumble up strategies time. The most efficient team on the grid in a race with strategy is Red Bull. And that's just keeping it a buck. That's just keeping it honest. So when you got that working for you, now it's about, can Ferrari match that in all those areas and then give their drivers the opportunity to perform to the best of their ability. And if Ferrari do that, you will see more of this. You're going to see more of this. Might see more of a 2021-esque season, hopefully without the scandal. And you got to remember, that was an epic season in the making until they just botched it with the scandal. I think with all the scandal and shadiness and straight garbage character, I think a lot of people, or some people, forget 2021 season was crazy dope. It was going to be magnificent. Even if Max Verstappen had won the race under good, fair conditions, because he wasn't. Because Max Verstappen was not going to win that race under good, fair conditions. He just wasn't. Even before the safety car, he was getting waxed. After the safety car, it just is a scandal. But let's just say it would have been still fire. He would have been birthed a champion out of the fire and forged instead of birthed a champion petulant, spoiled, and gifted. And that's where things went wrong. But if we can get that season, I don't want to say duplicated, similar, without a scandal, and either one of these drivers come out a champion, whether it's Max Verstappen, a 5-time world champion, or Lewis Hamilton, an 8-time world champion, I'm going to say that's a dope season. That's a dope season to be had. It would be crazy. Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion, his first year with Ferrari. Man, everybody, a lot of people gonna hate us here. A lot of people gonna hate me here because I'm gonna talk my shit. I'm gonna talk it. I'm gonna talk it because there's so many people hating on this man. So many people counting this man out, and he's still adding to statistical all-time great records. He's doing things that no other 40-plus-year-old driver has ever done in the sport. That's why you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT because you got all-time great records. You're the GOAT because you got all-time great statistics. You're the GOAT because you're doing things no other driver in Formula One has done. That's the GOAT. That's the GOAT. And you know what else we've seen? We've seen that when Max Verstappen gets in these type of situations, he reverts back to crash strapping. We saw it. We saw it with Lando. We seen it with Lewis. That's just what he does. I will credit Max Verstappen if he doesn't do that. I will credit Max Verstappen if he shows us that he could drive wheel to wheel, hard, fair, fierce, fair, strong but fair, without crashing somebody out and without doing a bunch of erratic, irrational dive bombing. That's fair, people. If you don't like it, then you can kick it. I'm never going to credit somebody who dive bombs to wreck you out. I'm never going to credit somebody who feels like I got to put you in a position of wrecking your car, giving me the position. I ain't going to credit you for that. That just tells me you know that the next person next to you is better than you and you can't do it the right way, so you got to do it the wrong way. I mean, I get it. Bring a gun to a knife fight. Okay, cool. It's life or death. I got you, but hey, I ain't going to give you no credit for that. I want to see you drive phenomenal wheel to wheel without doing that and see what happens. That's awesome to me. All right. But yeah, it's too early, but I'm just saying what I would like to see if it ever was to happen. What would be awesome in a season for me. All right. So we got a lot of things coming. I will be here again I'm going to try to be here again for us to get a little bit of the sprint race in and then do a sprint race review right after the race, kind of watch along a little bit live and then go right into what we see and what happens. I don't think you can count McLaren out. I think they're going to make some changes, see how things are going to go. Can't count them out definitely for the whole weekend going up to the race. They've been a fast team. Last season, they came in fast. They still may be fast, just some things they're getting together. And you got to remember, some teams are still testing. We still might see flow vids and free practices and all this other stuff. So just give us some time to breathe. And other than that, I think this is phenomenal for Lewis Hamilton. I think this is a breath of fresh air for Ferrari fans, Lewis Hamilton fans, and Formula One fans, because nothing is greater than having 6 drivers rotating out in quali or more, 3 or 4 drivers rotating out GP race weekends or more. That leaves us wanting to see the next weekend because we don't know what's going to happen. All right. So we'll see. Loving it. See you all soon. Matter of fact, later tonight, hopefully, and then early in the morning for tomorrow morning for the real qualifying session where things are going to get put to the test. And we'll see what happens then. All right. Peace and love. Wolfpack out.